Hey guys, it's Mrs. Hooven,
And Mrs. Dahl?
and we are going to talk to you today about a really cool project that we're excited about that we're going to start in on just as soon as you come back from conferences on the 19th. This one is the Martin Luther King Contest. This year's theme is Love Illuminates Life, and all of Chisholm Trail, all the kids at Chisholm Trail are going to take part in this contest this year. In our language arts classes in 6th grade, we're going to be working on it for about 3 weeks, and we just want to give you a sense of what it's all about.
So let's just take a look. When you get back after conferences, we'll be giving you actual paper copies of the information we're sharing here today, but we wanted you to have a sneak peek at it so that you are prepared on Monday to make the best use of your time as with your groups. So you can kind of see here, we're going to look at the theme. Love illuminates life. And so it says, Dr. King inspired millions with his words of wisdom in his role as a preacher, teacher, and civil rights advocate. Dr. King promoted the golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated. He expanded on this belief when he said, hatred paralyzes life, love releases it. Hatred confuses life, love harmonizes it. Hatred darkens life, love illuminates it. Even during times of despair, Dr. King led a life full of hope and promise. He believed in the importance of being positive, uplifting others, and bringing light into a world sometimes filled with darkness. Through your writing, art, and multimedia creativity, share your interpretation of how love illuminates life. What does the quote above mean to you? What is your role and that of the rest of society in fulfilling Dr. King's mission of leading a life of unconditional love? How can this world be brightened? How can love triumph over hate? How has Dr. King's message inspired others? Your work should motivate others to use love in illuminating life, just as Dr. King modeled for all of humankind.
So you're going to see as we scroll down that there are some deadlines, but that's for the whole entire contest. When you get back to school, we're going to share some checkpoints with you, and we're going to go over them with you today so you have a sense of how we're kind of chunking the project so that you can make really good use of your time and meet your goals and deadlines and feel really comfortable with completing this.
The really cool part about this project is that there's actually awards with it. So you can see that different types of entries will be scored on in different ways, and we wanted to showcase the awards. If you take a look here,
Look at that.
you get middle school. The first prize winner gets $200, and I just want to say that there has been a 6th grader who has won this contest before, just in the last 5 years, I think.
I think you're right.
In fact, I think there's been 2 middle school students who have won this in the last 5 years. Second prize is $125, and third prize is $75, and then I believe there's a best of show where they put the middle school and the senior high up against each other, maybe.
I think
and
so.
you get $500 for that. So, well worth your time to put some effort into this project and have it have some good ideas. We're going to keep scrolling here and show you an overview of the types of projects, and I'm going to let Mrs. Hooven talk about those.
Right, so there's 3 different areas you can decide ways in which you can show this theme of Love Illuminates Life. And so you can pick a writing project. You can see that's kind of writing an essay or a poem or something like that. We're going to let you read about it in a minute. You could also do some kind of a visual art project. So if fine arts is your area, that's kind of your gift area, you could do a 2D or a 3D, even photography, some kind of mixed media, something ceramic. It's up to you, but you can come up with some kind of a project in that area. Or the third area is multimedia, and we know that there are lots of great ways that we can demonstrate multimedia as well. And so we're going to give you a little bit of time to just read about these 3 different types, because here's the thing, at the end of this video, we are going to ask you guys to share with us the choice, I guess, Mrs. Dahl, that you're leaning toward. What do you think you want to do? Do you want to do a writing project, a visual art project, or a multimedia project? Another thing we're going to ask you to determine at the end of this, or at least have a pretty good idea of, is do you want to work on your own? You can work independently, or you might want to work with a partner. Now it has to be a partner in your language arts class.
Yep.
or you could work even with a group of people in your language arts class. And so some people really like to work independently, other people would rather work in a group. Be thinking about that too as you read about these different opportunities.
So go ahead and pause if you need to so that you can read about the writing, the visual art, and the multimedia guidelines so that you can be kind of developing an idea of what your answer might be at the end of the video. All right, I'm going to... Is that okay?
Yep, that's great.
All right, let's go ahead and go on here. These are just some additional dates and information that, again, will be handed to you in class in the coming week. So
right.
You want to go to that. So now what we're going to do is move on to our breakdown for you, as Mrs. Hooven said, to help you stay on track and to feel good about this project. So November 6th is the big day that you want to remember. That's the day that we will probably be sharing our projects in some way. And we will also be turning them in because then we have to turn them in to our administrators, and the administrators make some decisions about who moves on from Chisholm Trail onto the district.
Right. So we're hoping some of you guys will be in that group of people moving on.
Absolutely.
But to keep you on track, we've got some dates here you can see to meet that November 6th deadline. And so you can see Monday, October 19th. That's when we come back to school. Maybe that's tomorrow for some of you. Maybe that's in a few days. But Monday, October 19th, you need to have watched this Ed Puzzle video. You need to have viewed it. And then you have to make that first choice of what kind of project you want to do and whether or not you're leaning toward working in groups, partners, or independently. Okay? Then on Thursday, October 22nd, later in that week, we are going to be using that week to build some background knowledge. You're going to be learning about segregation, learning about Martin Luther King, and learning about some topics like that to get some background. By Thursday, we want to know your final project choice, and then we're going to make sure that we have assigned groups. So you'll have a lot of choice in that. We want to make sure everybody's included who wants to be in a group, so we'll kind of see if we can work flexibly with that. We're also going to hand out a rubric of how you're going to be graded on this project. So you can expect that on Thursday the 22nd.
And those rubrics will depend on the project choice that you make because each project, based on the contest rules, are graded upon different criteria. So you'll get a rubric specific to your choice of project. We also have a couple of other items that you're going to be doing. And Monday, October 26th, we want you to have a book. Mrs. Hooven just pointed out that I skipped Friday, October 23rd. So we're going to go back a little bit. Friday, October 23rd, we want you to have your message determined. And we're going to talk about that message in just a little bit as we scroll further down. Then, on Monday, October 26th, we want you to have a book. It's one of our core lit books. It's new, and it's called Freedom Walkers. It's an amazing narrative nonfiction story about the bus boycott that you may have heard about with Rosa Parks. And so you're going to have some time in class to read it and whatnot prior to the 26th, of course. And
you
then,
should get it on the 19th. So
Yep.
you'll have about a week.
Yep.
And some in-class time too to read. So
Absolutely. And then Tuesday, October 27th, we want you to have any materials for your project brought to school so you and your group or yourself, depending on how you're working, have the materials to make the best time of class because we're going to provide almost 5 full days of work time for you in class, and then whatever is not done by Friday the 30th, you're going to need to finish on your own time. So, which kind of leads to Friday, October 30th,
right,
which says plans are set for project completion outside of class time. If you are not done, we want to know that you've got plans to get it done.
Right. We want to know how you're going to complete the rest of your project because it will be on your own. So,
and then. Yep.
Oh,
sorry.
And then you're going to work and get it done and turn in a fantastic project on Friday, November 6th. And like Mrs. Dahl said, we'll be sharing those in some way. Okay, so here's how you're going to build your background. This is what we're going to do in the week of the 19th through the 23rd. We're going to watch a story about Ruby Bridges. We're going to watch a documentary on civil rights, and we're going to give you that Freedom Walkers book to read. Also, We'll have some options for you for looking up some speeches by Martin Luther King and videos of him and maybe some quotes of his that are famous. And you'll be taking notes on this and just building your background knowledge.
And I think when we're considering finding those speeches and videos and such, those might actually play into part of your project. You might use some of those quotes in your writing, or you might use some images in your multimedia project or whatnot. So we'll just kind of see how that goes.
And, you know, another cool thing about this project, guys, is that we're going to be reading a book later on called Maniac McGee, and all of this is building background knowledge for that book too, and you'll learn more about that later on, but we're excited about that as well. So we want to talk about the message of your piece, so the whole point of your piece.
Based on the contest and its theme of Love Illuminates Life, what we wanted to do was help you focus in on one small portion of, or kind of find a focus so that you have something to think about as you're watching the videos and looking on the internet and reading different articles in the books, that you can really pick the quotes that you want to use or the pictures and images. So one of those deadlines was to pick a message, and so these guiding questions can help you decide which route you want to take to showcase Love Illuminates Life. So you've got, what does the quote mean to you? What is the role and that of the rest of society in fulfilling Dr. King's mission of leading a life of unconditional love? How can this world be brightened? How can love triumph over hate? And how has Dr. King's message inspired others? So those, you're not limited to that, but those came from that document up above that we went over, in hopes that it'll help you narrow down your ideas so you don't feel like this is such a big
overwhelming project. Yep. Exactly. It'll just give you a focus. So we can help you with that in class as well as you start thinking about that.
Absolutely.
So here again are the options for what form you want to create your project. That written form, maybe in the form of an essay, poetry, a narrative, could even be some kind of a narrative story, or visual arts. You can think Mrs. Weatherford, and maybe she can provide you some ideas as well. Remember, you will be responsible for providing your own materials, so take that into consideration as you begin to make your decision. You can draw something, you can use photographs, photo collage, it can be something three-dimensional, clay, wood, something, but remember, think about how you'll want to be using your class time, and if that will, you know, you can make the best use of your class time. Last but not least, here are some multimedia options. Of course, it's not limited to this. Notice that whatever multimedia presentation you come up with needs to be between 1 and 5 minutes, so think that. Could be an interactive web media, animation, graphic design, a documentary video, a dramatic video, or even just something like a PowerPoint.
So we're going to end with that, and as we said earlier, we are going to have you answer 2 questions. One being, what kind of a project do you think you're leaning towards, and are you wanting to work on your own with a partner or in a larger group, maybe 3 to 4 people from your language arts class? What you answered today is definitely not set in stone. It's just giving Mrs. Hooven and I an idea of what this is going to look like each day for you and for us. So we will see you Monday.
All right, and you'll see a question here in just a minute. Make sure you send us the answer. Thanks for watching.